Hey guys, it's Kenya and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a girl talk video, and as you can tell from the title, I'm going to be going over some of the things that my dad or my grandfathers have told me growing up, kind of to like protect myself or to be aware of like my surroundings and stuff like that. So if you're interested, just make sure you keep on watching.
My hair, my crown, wear it how you want, girl. Show it off, go, girl. My hair, my crown.
Okay, so one of the first things that my grandfather used to tell me was to be aware of your surroundings, because there's a lot going on, and if you're not aware or you're not sure how to get out, then you could be caught in a very bad situation. So for example, when we go out to like restaurants or diners or things of that nature where we're sitting down, I kind of like to sit where I could face the door. That way if someone's coming in, I could see who it is, I could see what's going on, what they have in their hands, if something's happening. You just want to be aware of that, especially if you're with someone that isn't really concerned about those things, or if you're with someone younger or whatever the case may be. You definitely want to be the one sitting towards the door. And another thing that I was told is if I ever go into like a club or a bar or like a party or anything like that, I always make sure as soon as I walk in, I see like where my exits are. I'm like, okay, so I have an exit back here, I have an exit over here to my left, you know, there's a window in case I have to go out the window. You know, be aware of like your emergency exits, be aware of who's in the building with you, be aware of like the environment, like the tension, like what's going on, what's happening. You just want to make sure if anything's happening, you could be able to get out as fast as you can. Also, is to never rely on guys. Not anything against guys or whoever you're dating. Don't rely too much on them to protect you, whether it's a guy, whether it's a woman, whether it's whatever they want to label themselves as. Do not rely on your partner always for protection. Because one, I know definitely with girls, and I kind of, back when I dated guys, I kind of had like this whole idea of, oh, I'm with a guy, like I'm protected, like, you know, if something happens, you know, he's there to fight for me, or, you know, he's there to like block whoever's coming my way. And you can't think like that, because they're human too. They could be just as afraid, they could not know what to do, and you have to defend yourself. Like, if you don't know how to fight, know how to run. Okay, at least know how to protect yourself, or know that in certain situations you can't rely on them. I remember back in high school, there was this party, and it was kind of at like this little like hotel area thing, you know, like where they have like conferences and stuff, but they cleared out the tables. And it was like overcrowded, and a fight broke out, and you know, the cops came to like mace the air, so everyone's like running and whatnot. And this was before the party was over, and I didn't have a car, I didn't have my license or any of that, and I was with my boyfriend at the time, and I had to call my dad to have him come pick me up. And my boyfriend, mind you, everyone's just outside, right, in the middle of the night, just outside scattered. People are going home, people are walking home, people are taking the city bus, but I lived kind of far, so I couldn't really take public transportation. And he was like, oh, you're good? He went with his friends and left. And ever since then, my dad hates him. My dad asked about him, asked if I'm still friends with him, and my dad hates him. So don't be that person. At least, like, luckily I had like my cousin there, so I was still like around my cousin, but my dad was like, you know, he could have waited for you. And that's what my dad pretty much told me, like, never rely on someone for that. And it's good that, you know, my dad wasn't far, so I called him, you know, all that other stuff. And I had money with me, so like if worst came to worst, I could have always like just taken like a taxi or like taken public transportation to someone's house. That's another thing that my grandfather and my dad always told me, was to always bring your own money. So let's say you're on a date with someone, it's like the first date, and naturally, let's just say it's like a heterosexual date, right? So naturally, the girl always assumes that the guy's gonna pay. But we're in an age group where everyone's kind of like financially struggling, okay? So you can't just assume that someone's gonna pay. I know for me, if I'm asked out on a date, I would kind of expect in a way for the person that asks me out to pay, but I always have money just in case. Like, if I go to reach for my money and they don't stop me, then I'm like, oh, okay, all right, cool, got you. I'm just gonna pay for myself, you know, just pay for this half. Or like right when the waiter comes, you know, that's kind of like when it's established. If, you know, you're like, oh, separate checks, or, you know, we're gonna pay together, whatever. But not only that, not only just on a date, you want to always have cash with you in case the date goes bad, or in case something happens. You have a way to get you from point A to point B, whether it's like actual cash or whether it's money on your debit card. You're gonna want something to help you not have to rely on the person you're trying to get away from. And then also, let's say we're out at like Bertucci's or some like expensive place, or let's say we're out at Red Lobster, and you know, he's ordering like, you know, the little safe, like, you know, fried shrimp or whatever, and I want a lobster. Lobsters aren't cheap, but I love me some lobster. So I would feel bad if I'm like, the only thing I want is this lobster and it's $54, and he's over here trying to make sure he doesn't go over $15. At least in that situation, you can be like, no, it's fine, I'm gonna pay for myself because this is what I want. I want to treat myself, I want to eat good, so this is what I want. So, you know, you're also gonna kind of want to bring money for that. And then you never know, like, he could have budgeted wrong and assumed you were going to get something cheap, or like, you know, just a salad, and not have enough money, and then you're both just sitting there stuck at a restaurant. Because like, sometimes, you know, their ego doesn't want them to be like, oh wait, don't order that, or, you know what, I can't afford it. Or even if you're, you know, even like with me, when I'm on a date with my girlfriend, I make sure I bring money. Granted, we both always have money and we're smart, like we're not gonna go somewhere when we can't afford it, but still, you never know, you know, that auto pay could come when you're not aware and you're broke. So yeah, always make sure you bring money. If you feel like you're being followed, don't go home. Like, it sounds crazy, like what, like home's my safe place, like, you know, my mom's there, my dad's there, I'm gonna go home. But if you're being followed by someone, you don't want them to know where you live, if it's a person that doesn't already know where you live. So you might be able to get away from them in that instant, but now they know where you live, they know like where to sneak up on you. So don't go home. Like, if you're just out walking around, or, you know, you're not in a car and you feel like you're being followed, make it known. Go into a public place, go inside, and tell someone, call the cops. You know, if you're walking, I know like a lot of people live where there's like easy transportation, like if you live like in a downtown area and you just take city buses, or, you know, you're Ubering or whatever, and you're walking from like your stop to like your location, and you feel like you're being followed, pull out your phone, FaceTime someone, right? So like, you're holding up the phone and they see you, but they also see the person behind you. Or call someone, let them know, and like talk, you know, like let that person know like, hey, you're on to them. And if you're bold enough, or you have, you know, you have your mace, you have like whatever, knives, you know, your keys, turn around and be like, hey, what's up? Are you following me? Like, just be upfront, because if they're aware that you know that they're following you, they might back up, because now you see them, now you're prepared for an attack. So just make sure it's known. And if you're in your car, this actually happened to me before, and I think it was probably just like some drunk like guys or whatever. But if you're in your car and you feel like someone's following you or tailgating you, once again, don't go home, but like, try to stay calm, you know, like call the cops if you need to. But like, one way to be sure, because I know some people are like, oh, well, you know, I live in a small town, I live this and this, like, you know, people take the same turns once in a while. But if you make 4 left turns or 4 right turns and that car is still behind you, they're following you, because there's no way you're going in a circle and that car's going in a circle too, right? So that's when you need to get someone on the phone, whether it's the cops, whether it's your dad, like telling your dad, hey, meet me here in your car, someone's following me. You need to let someone know. Because people are crazy. I know, especially, I live in Connecticut, and I was just talking about this with my friends, and there's a lot of human trafficking that goes on in Connecticut. And it's because it's such a small state and like so overlooked, and we're right here by New York and like Massachusetts, like where Boston is, and like DC. We're like that mid-state, so like it's easy for people to get snatched and be out, right? So you just need to be aware. Okay, and this is one that I do all the time, whether I feel safe, whether I don't feel safe, I do this all the time. And can't remember if it was my dad that told me or like one of my male cousins or something like that, but we take Uber all the time. This kind of goes against what we like grew up learning, like don't get in the car with strangers, you know, don't talk to strangers. All that goes against everything we learned when we were younger, but those dangers still haven't gone away, right? So you don't really know who this Uber driver is, or this Lyft driver. So if you get in a car with someone and you feel like, hey, this might not be a safe thing, I know I always like, I'll have my headphones in my phone and I'll like listen in one ear, but like I don't have anything playing. I listen to what's going on. I listen to if he's saying something, if he's mumbling, whatever the case may be. I listen to what his GPS is saying, but I also have my GPS on my phone, so like I know if we're taking a wrong turn, if he's going off track, whatever the case may be. Like I make sure I know where I'm at all times. And also, as soon as I get into a Lyft, I share my location with dang near everyone in my contacts. My best friends, my friends from work, my mom, my dad, like my girlfriend, my sisters, whoever. I will share my contact and I'll take a screenshot of like my Lyft screen, right? So when you open your app, you see who the driver is, you'll see the type of car, you'll see the license plate, and I just take a screenshot of that and I send it to them, so at least they know, hey, this is where I am and this is who has me right now. Because Ubers and Lyft, they could also be really scary. Like you never know. I know my first time I was like terrified to go in an Uber by myself, and now I'm used to it. Or especially like, you know, when you're out and you're drinking and you're not really thinking what's going on. Yeah, you're being the responsible thing by not driving, but you're still like drunk in a car with someone you don't know. So, you know, it's a little scary. So make sure someone knows where you are at all times. This one I'm very bad at, and my girlfriend gets mad at me all the time. Don't go places by yourself at night. And she's probably gonna get even more mad I'm saying this on YouTube, where a whole bunch of people are gonna watch. But so like I work from 3 to 11:30. So I sleep in late because I'm usually tired, but also I do a lot of things at night. Like I go to the gym at night because, you know, there's not a lot of people and I'm more energized because I've just been working all this time. I do my grocery shopping at night because we have the 24-hour grocery store. You know, I'm a night person, right? So I do a lot at night, and that's not always the safest. But if you are like me doing crazy things, make sure when you are going somewhere, once again, you're sharing your location, because a good portion of the world or a good portion of your friends are probably sleeping. And share your location so at least they know where you were last, or know whatever. Park as close as you can to like the door of whatever you're walking into, because usually it's lit, there's still people around, you know, like people could see you, there's cameras at the storefronts like before you walk in and stuff, so you know, at least you're seen. Don't try to park far back. You know, I know people want to get their steps in, but do not park far back. And if you can't park right there in front of the door, park like under like a light or something, or park where there's a lot of cars. You know, don't isolate yourself. And like, even like when you're out, right? So let's say you're out at a party or you're out with your friends or whatever, and people, whether they're drunk, whether they're sober, whether they're on drugs, whatever they're doing, they get really bold. Like people get extremely bold. And I've had people come on to me that were guys, that were girls. Like, it's not a gender thing, it's a people thing. It's people that think they could do whatever they want to you or touch you however, and that's not okay. If someone touches you, I know this is like very common, like in crowded spaces, or like when you're taking group photos, you know, you have that person that like comes up behind you and like touches you or try to grab you. Immediately turn and push them away. Yell, make that known, scream at them, ask them what they're doing, ask them why they touched you like that. Like, I've read this thing where people tend to do that like on planes, you know, like when you're sitting somewhere and like people just assume you're with like the person you're sitting next to, and they'll like touch you, or you know, public transportation like trains or like cars, not cars, like buses and stuff like that. You know, people get really bold because they don't think you're gonna speak out. Like, you know, they know you're scared, you're caught off guard. They don't think you're gonna speak out. But be loud, make sure it's known, because when people find out what's going on, they're gonna stop it. They're gonna help you. No one's gonna sit there and let you get like touched or assaulted or anything like that. Even if it's not even like a sexual thing, even like, you know, when you're, you know, like I mentioned before, human trafficking is real. Like, if you're somewhere alone, or if you're even with a group and like someone comes up behind you and like they have a gun, or they say they have a gun, or they say they have a knife, still turn around. If they'd be like, don't turn around, you know, I'm gonna shoot you, I'm gonna do this. If they're gonna do all that, they wouldn't be whispering in your ear. They wouldn't be so stressed to be so secretive. You know, they would just straight up snatch you, right? So, and mind you, don't quote me on this, sometimes they might have a gun or might have a knife or whatever, but I suggest, if you know, if you're in that situation and someone comes up behind you, they're like, hey, don't turn around, don't scream, I have a knife, I have this, blah blah blah. Yeah, it's a scary moment, but still turn around. Especially if you're in a public space, turn around, look at them, get a visual image of what they look like, look to see what they have. And if they have a gun, I would be afraid too. But still fight. Don't try not to go willingly if you can. Fight as much as you can. Punch, scream, yell, cry, throw something, cause a scene, cause any type of scene. If you just stand there and scream at top of your lungs, cause a scene, because people will stop, people will pull out their phones, people will come up to you, people will do something, and that will spook the guy or spook the woman or whoever it is that is trying to hurt you. Because at the end of the day, your life is very precious and very fragile, and things can happen so quickly, and you just need to know how to protect yourselves. And I'm very thankful for like my dad and my grandfathers and my male cousins and like all the people in my life who have given me all these great and wonderful tips and weapons. So I just wanted to pass that along to you guys, just in case these are things that your dad never told you. But that brings me to the end of this video. So if you like what you see, make sure you comment below, give me ideas, let me know how you feel about this whole girl talk thing. I think I really like it, you know, switch it up than always doing hair videos, because I know I have like a very broad audience. So, you know, give me ideas, I'm very open to it. And make sure you follow me on my Instagram. It was in my intro, but I'll also put it right here. It's also in the description box. Follow me, message me, do whatever. But make sure you also subscribe to my channel to make sure you're notified every time I post a video, or you know, just want to do a giveaway, which are coming very very soon. So you want to make sure you like, comment, subscribe, tell your grandma, tell your grandpa, tell your mom, tell your brother, tell your sister, tell your uncles, tell your dad, you know, ask them if I need more tips, need to brush up on my tips. But yeah, make sure you continue watching me, and thank you guys so much for this continuous outpour of love and support for my YouTube channel. So as always, I'll see you guys next time. Bye.